Hey guys, okay, so this week I'm excited because I have an amazing person that's going to speak today to you. I'm kind of in a weird setup because I'm at my sister's house. So this is my sister Katie, and she has had a wonderful experience with adoption. My nephew, who you guys hear me always talk about on my stories because I just think he's the cutest thing ever. Her experience with adopting him, and it's kind of crazy because when I was talking to her a little while ago, there's things I didn't even know because I was so much younger when she adopted him. So I'm excited to hear and listen and have her share her story. So she is going to go ahead and I will move out of the way and turn the time over to her.
Okay, so a little bit nervous, haven't done this, but I'm super excited to share my story about my son. And I am not going to get emotional, but this is something that I love to talk about in hopes to help people. So let's see, my husband and I were married when I was 19, and he had a daughter from a previous marriage that I actually got to adopt later down the road. So that was awesome. So we pretty much tried to start to get pregnant fast off the bat because we wanted them close in age. It was frustrating. It was a long, long road of trying to get pregnant. It was, I'm sure as many of you know, as I'm sharing this, you can relate. It ended up being 9 years of trying. So we were debating between in vitro and adoption. And I went to a party with like a get together with a friend who had adopted a baby from the Marshall Islands. And after talking to her, I knew 100% that that's what we were supposed to do. And so we actually started going with the Marshall Islands, and that ended up not working so well. And the agency was actually shut down. So definitely want to do some good research on an agency, on a reputable one. So anyway, we got in touch with, I don't know if we were referred to or not, but we got in touch with the agency, and that was in January of 2007. And they gave us all the ins and outs, and we went through the process of that. So I think it was March that we got a phone call about a boy, and they were saying that she was having a boy, and it just seemed so fast. Maybe it was even February, and it just seemed so fast, and I wasn't quite ready. And I'm just like, okay, so I don't know about this baby. And I know that sounds crazy, but I just didn't know yet. So that was that. So we got a call probably a couple weeks later about another baby, and it was a girl. And honestly, I did not have a preference on the gender. So she came out, they flew her out, and we were supposed to meet with her that night for dinner. And I was at work, and all day I just had this sick feeling, and I couldn't shake it. And I'm like, okay, we have waited so long to adopt a baby. What is going on here? So I called the agency, and she just said, this isn't your baby. And it was heartbreaking, but the relief I felt just knowing that, yeah, I'm glad that she just knew that this wasn't our baby. So probably maybe a week and a half later, which is rare for adoption agencies to go this fast, we get a call from her saying that the boy that they had asked me about the first time, the one that they had contacted me in February, that I said no. And by the way, after that one, he was on my mind the entire time, but I just figured it was too late. So they said she was actually less far along than they thought she was. So she was only 7 months along in February. And we found out in March. So right about the end of March, we found out about him. And I knew immediately that he was ours, as he was in the back of my mind before. So we had a month to get ready for him, and we had nothing, but we had so much support from our family. I got 3 baby showers, and it was amazing. And we were so excited. Anyway, they flew the birth mom out, and we just got extremely lucky because this was a birth mom and a birth father, which is very rare. And the awesome thing about it was that the birth father can't come back. And I know that there's strict rules about that, but they flew her out the day before my son was born. And so we got to meet both of them at a Denny's. The flight was late. It was about midnight. And then she was going to be induced the next day. So the next day, my husband and I were just waiting for that call. Probably about 10 a.m. The birth mom called. Can I say her name? That's fine, right? So her name's Emily, and she called me and she said, Katie, I'm in the hospital. I really need support. Will you please come? So I went up there, and my husband was in the waiting room, and long story short, I guess she went natural, and he was born super fast. So the doctor ran in and she started having him, and I had never witnessed birth before. And I just remember she was screaming and I was in the corner crying. I didn't know what to do. I'm like, what do I do? And so she had him, and they said, who do you want to hold the baby first? And I looked at her. So he, I didn't get a hold of him until we went into the nursery. And anyway, he was healthy, 6'3". So so she stayed with him that night in the hospital. And then the following day, she was released, and we got to go to dinner with her and hang out with her and her husband, my son's dad. So after that, she went back to hotel, and I got to spend the night with my son in the hospital. And then the next day had been long enough that she was able to sign over her rights. Any of you going through the process, when he was born, I did not get attached. I came home and I'm like, I don't know. I don't think that feeling was quite there. But they pulled her and her husband aside to go in and sign the papers. And the second they came out and they said the papers are signed, I bawled. Like, it was a feeling I can't even explain. And since I've been blessed, and I've had kids from me, I guess, non-adopted kids. And it was honestly a different feeling than that. And it was not a different bad feeling. It was like a feeling that this baby was sent to you in such a special way. This baby has been meant for you. So I don't know, it was just hard for me to get attached until I knew 100%. And then it was just whoosh, all there. And it was hard mixed feelings. It was so bittersweet. I felt horrible for the birth mom and what she must have been going through. And I know it was hard for her. When we first went to put in our papers for adoption, they asked if we had a preference between any race, Caucasian, African American, and we didn't. And they said, unfortunately, the Caucasian babies cost more. And since we did not care, we went with my son, who is Black. And it's hard to swallow that is the case, but it is. And maybe in some ways it has been a blessing, because I don't know if we would have, I don't know what race we would have gone with, honestly. He's been the biggest blessing, I can tell you. And with my other children, we have just this super special bond that I can't explain. And of course, I love my other children just as much, but this one's different in a really good way. So if you are looking for adoption and you are wondering between, if it should be blood or not, from my experience, I think you'll just know if this is what you're supposed to do. And we have been so blessed with him. And honestly, we thought we wanted another baby after, and the cost is unreal. It's unreal. When we got him, so it's been 13 years now, it was $16,500 for the base. And I know it has gone up so much since then. Right after we adopted him, it had actually gone up about 5,000, and we ended up spending about 22,000. And we saved up. Well, we were going to save up money to do the in vitro or adoption again, and I definitely wanted to adopt just because it was that amazing. So if I had a choice, that's what I would have done. But like I say, we've been blessed in so many ways. And it's kind of what am I trying to say? It's kind of like a rebound, or I'm not sure of the word, but like a chain of reaction, I guess. And we have had 3 people in my neighborhood, in my ward, who saw him, who I shared the story with, and they went with the exact same agency that I went with. And 2 of them have adopted. No, all of them have adopted 2 babies from that agency. So it's fun to get together and talk to them, and just from what I can see, they feel the exact same way that I do. So anyway, definitely the cost is hard, and it'd be nice if that didn't keep people from adopting these babies who need a home so much. And I know that some adoptions cost more based off of, whether they have insurance or not, and all those ins and outs. But and even though it was so much money, we were lucky to get that amount. It's, I don't know, I've heard it was 35,000 now to 40,000, but there's definitely ways. So when we heard that it was the 16,500, and that's kind of what we were planning on, probably about 2 weeks before he was born, they surprised us with the extra 4,000. And all of a sudden, I don't know how, but my husband had side jobs and it just came. So if it's meant to be, you'll figure out a way. You will, and it will come. These babies, you are your entire life. That's what you're supposed to do. That is one of your callings is to get one of these babies who need a good home. I've been lucky to have such a good birth mom. We have stayed in contact. Not a lot, but we will text each other on Mother's Day and stuff. And anyway, that's my story. He's completely amazing. And yeah, I would do it all over again if I could.
So has Cam ever asked about his birth mom?
So Camden has not so much.
Okay.
Ever since he was little, I would tell him his story, because I never wanted him to say, "Mom, why am I different?" So ever since he was tiny, I would say, "Since you were a teeny tiny baby, Mommy and Dad wanted a baby so bad." Or since before you were born, Mom and Dad wanted a baby so bad. And there was a girl named Emily, and she wasn't quite ready to have a baby. And she was an amazing person, and gave you to us. And just so he would never ask. But I think because we have informed him with all that information, I would recommend that, because he just knows he has a birth brother as well. And I kind of give him as much information as he wants. I don't want to give him more than what he's ready for. But if he asks me anything, which he really doesn't, then I will give him that. And when he's 18 or whatever and wants to find her, I will support that. That's just me. More people to love him, and he'll always know who his mom is. So.
Oh no, I was gonna say my favorite thing about doing these interviews is the commonality with the adoptive moms towards the birth moms. Every single mom has said so many amazing things about the birth mom. Like, the birth mom did this because, there was a lady that loved you and wanted you to have a better life. And I think just the commonality between all these moms, I'm really excited to interview the birth moms and see how they feel about it too, because I mean, that's the only thing that kids want is just love. Just plain love. They don't care what, if they look different or anything. I mean, granted, you guys are all white and Cam's black.
And we live in a
People-
white
Yeah,
community.
yeah, like suburban white, which is totally fine. But like that leads into like another question. Have you guys ever had anybody say anything or anything like that because he's black and you know, are white?
So,
Or
Nobody as far as white people. Nobody. They've said nothing, but he's cute. And we've had a lot of people ask us where he's from, people that are interested in adoption.
yeah,
And so that's been neat to be able to share with them. Yeah, I guess I didn't think about it, but we have had a few people make remarks that are black. And you know, I'm not, so I can't judge, I guess. We were at the airport and there was a girl who said, "What is that white mom doing with that black baby?" And that was hard just because I don't see it as any other way. And he feels completely comfortable. He never seems that he's different.
Yeah.
I tried to introduce him to his culture. We're lucky that he has a uncle who is black, and therefore his cousins are, and so that's fun. But I think that's super important to make sure that they're not just in the white culture, that they are.
there's a lot of people who want to look for adoption, and a lot of people that are adopted too that I've spoken to, they've all said that try to incorporate their background.
Yes.
Because of, I mean, I get when it's different, but I mean, it is. Like one girl was saying with her mom, she tried to introduce a little bit because she's from Colombia too. And so I just think that's amazing and wonderful. And you take him to a black barber, which I think is one of my favorite things ever, because then he gets that experience, you know?
And I think it's I think it's so important to him.
Yeah. So I think it's great. Okay, is there anything, I'm trying to think of anything that you've covered a lot. Anything else that you want to share with anybody about?
I know I go on and on.
No, it's okay.
I don't think so. I just think, you know, if you agree on the open adoption, you make sure that you keep that promise to them, and you send them pictures, and you make sure that they are in the know. If it's closed, that's different, but you keep your word on it. And that honestly, as time goes on, it kind of gets less, but just make sure you keep that up and you keep them informed. This mom gave you the most amazing gift, and I can't even imagine how they must feel. Like I say, it was super bittersweet, but she's reassured me that it's okay, and that she knows that one day if she wants, then she can be a part of this life as well. So
Okay, one last question.
Okay.
I'm gonna kind of flip it.
Okay.
How do you feel about meeting your sister and being adopted? Because that's a completely different thing because you have a sibling that's adopted. So what would you say, I don't know, about that and growing up and like me and like when mom and dad got me? I know that's a whole different tangent you could go off of, but just like having something adopted in your family.
I think, you and I have always been super close, and just never felt different about you as my sister, as my other sister, and my siblings. And I've just been close to you. So I knew that I gave me reassurance that when we adopted, that it would be no different. It would feel no different. And I think this is amazing what you're doing. It really is helping people.
People's stories out there.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome back in the screen. So this is my sister, and I loved hearing her story, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Like I said, I'm gonna try and get my mom. I'm also gonna try and get my birth mom. It'll be a little different with her because she speaks Spanish. We'll have my brother translate. But every time I listen to these stories, if you believe in God or if you don't, it just solidifies my belief in him, because for all of this to happen, for this to come together. And I had a friend, and I don't know if I probably shared it a couple different times that I've talked to people, but I have a friend that said, God knew what he was doing before we came like to this earth. And he knew that like, even though I'm a different color than my sister, I was supposed to be a part of her family. Same with her son. It doesn't matter. Like we're family. And that's been my favorite thing. And I wanted to promote this even more with this crazy ass world right now and all the racism that's going on, because it's not about that. It's just about loving people for who they are. So thank you guys for watching. And I'm so glad that my sister came on, and I love her so much. And I'm so grateful that she said yes to this. And I tried to get my nephew, but he's a punk ass 13-year-old and said no.
No.
So maybe when he's older, I can get him to do it. So thanks so much for watching, and you guys have a good day.